Hello, winners. Have you ever been told, stay in your lane? I'm here to tell you that lanes are for traffic, they're not for purpose. So, we're here to talk about how do you show up brilliantly in all of your multifacetedness so that you can share your gifts with those that are called to hear your voice and are called to receive your services, your products, your advice, your coaching. When we take cliches out of context or we shorten them, we oftentimes shorten the full meaning of them. And there's a cliche that we've all heard so many times before, and that is jack of all trades, master of none. That statement, in and of itself, sounds like shrink, sounds like get into a box and stay there. It sounds like find a lane and don't deviate from it. But is that who we are really truly called to be? One dimensional? I'm going to challenge that today. We're going to talk about what does it look like to be multifaceted and brilliant in all that we do? What does it look like to be a diamond crushed by the pressures of life that has a light shine through it and it's multifaceted in all of its ways? And so I want to share with you guys tonight in this Tuesday night steak dinner about how do we truly embrace all that God has created us to be in every area of our lives. And so hello, winners. Hold on, let me get the right prompt up. Hello, winners. I'm so excited that you're joining me today. If you're joining, drop a line in the chat, drop a line in the comments, and let me know that you're here. I love to serve and I love to answer questions live. So if you have live questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments so that I can share with you later the answers. So we're getting into this. Jack of all trades, master of none. We've all heard it. I've said it. I've actually got it in my curriculum that tells people to really shrink back. When we look at this phrase, the way we use it today, it causes people to shrink back. It tells people that it implies that you don't have a focused area of depth. But is that really true? Are we designed to be just teachers? Are we designed to be just moms? Are we designed to be just leaders? Or are we multifaceted? And sometimes when we hear that cliche, jack of all trades, master of none, it makes us want to shrink back and say, we're doing too much. Well, I'm here to tell you, baby boy, I'm here to tell you, baby girl, you're not doing too much. You're doing exactly what you're designed to do. But you need some tools so that you're not an octopus on roller skates. You know what I mean? Where you're doing all these different things and everything's wilding out of control and you're overwhelmed and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Well, this live is for you. And this is the Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. steak dinner of tools to help you win at life in every area of life. And so when we begin to talk about this cliche, I love in the MythBusters series to take cliches that have been shortened to throw shade, to throw shame, fear, and guilt. I like to bust those wide open because we have enough of that in the world today. Anybody have enough shame, guilt, fear to go around? How about we power up encouragement and get to the real truths that will set us free? Tonight, if you stay for this steak dinner, this 1 hour steak dinner of breakthrough tools, you are going to get free to fully express all the dimensions of your greatness, all the dimensions of your talent, and embrace it in such a way. And this is for entrepreneurs mostly tonight, but embrace it in such a way that you thrive in every area of life, from the bedroom to the boardroom. So let's take this very well-known cliche and let's look at what is the full quote. Okay, the full quote, the original phrase is encouraging, not shame, not guilt, not fear-based. It's encouraging. Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. Now, if you knew that was the whole quote, would you feel shaded because you're multifaceted? Would you feel shaded because you're a good instructor, but you're also a powerful gospel singer, or you are also great at playing pickleball, or sports, as well as playing the saxophone. I'm here, beloved, today to set you free to express all of the talents in the fullness of your potential as it should be. Because you are Elohim kids. You're not designed to be one dimensional. You're designed to be multifaceted in every area of your life, right? If you're a homeschooling mom, you know that you got to have to be good at multiple things in order to thrive with raising those babies up to be good, well-meaning citizens, right? We're not designed to be one dimensional. We are designed to be multifaceted. And the sooner we begin to embrace that, the sooner we can gain mastery in the different areas we're called to have mastery in. And it can all work for our good and not for our harm. So the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none, that's a comma. That's a comma in the original. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's a comma, not a period. But oftentimes better than master of one. Whenever you put a but in a sentence, that means it negates everything that was said prior to. So jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. When you are multifaceted, you are well-rounded, you are adaptable, you are versatile, you're agile, you're cross-functional. Let me tell you, if you want to be a linchpin employee in your job, learn multiple areas of your workplace so that you can be a turnkey employee. Those are harder to lay off. Those are harder to get rid of than someone who all I know how to do is billing. I don't know how to do anything else. All I can do is accounts payable. Sorry, my first set of student loans is in accounting, so I go into AP, AR, GL, general ledger, things of that nature. But for those that are not in accounting, you don't want to be just one dimensional. In this workplace, you want to be multifaceted. You want to be a student of your trade. You want to have mastery over as many different areas as you have an interest and a passion to have mastery in. This is what will make you a linchpin employee in your workplace, where you are able to be agile and you are a creative problem solver because you're multidimensional. The harm of shortening this phrase, it means the longer version praises adaptability, praises range, praises the ability to connect across disciplines. It praises that instead of jack of all trades, master of none, that says shrink back, only learn one thing very well. But what if the one thing very well that you learned was content writing and you got replaced by an AI bot who can write content like that? You want to be multidimensional. You want to be multifaceted. You want to embrace all of the creativity that's based on the inside of you. Well, Brenda, how do I do that without being overwhelmed? That's what we're going to talk about today. But let's talk about the harm of shortening this phrase has had over people's lives. Discourages multi-passionate people from really embracing their versatility. So it makes you feel like you're shrinking. It makes you feel like you're not fully expressing all of who you are. And that makes you feel caged. Anybody ever feel caged by your job, caged by your a specific skill set that you went to college for? That's going to be my trademark, me adjusting my wig in all my lives. This live is designed to release that false pressure off of you. Don't just pick a lane. Picking a lane is for traffic, not for purpose, baby. You want to embrace all of your curiosities. You want to be multidimensional. You want to be multifaceted. This can cause people who have heard this phrase to be shamed into being like the world. The world tells you pick a lane and stay in it. The world tells you to conform to one skill set and don't move past it. But God says, I'm Elohim. I am creative God sealed to the inside of you, and I'm multifaceted in all that I am. So when I touch your heart with creativity, you may be a great communicator. So that may mean that you're writing books. That may mean that you're a motivational speaker. That may mean that you're a corporate trainer. That may mean you're a classroom teacher because you have the gift of communicating, and that gift can be expressed in multiple facets. Now, you guys know I am a believer in being well to be being well trained in specific disciplines, but it doesn't mean you become one dimensional and you conform to a one dimensional world. I am challenging you to be multifaceted, because when you're multifaceted, there's so many doors that open up for you. When you think about this thought of jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one, we come up against something that is taught in the world that does not align with the word. And so I want you to think just for a moment. We're going to do a cognitive exercise here. What is the one letter difference between world and word? What is the one letter difference between world and word? Okay. That difference is the letter L. What could that L represent? Could that L represent the lie? We live in a world that is fear based, and fear always comes from a lie. Wherever you feel a lot of fear, fear to go after that next level job, fear to make that job optional until it's time to make it obsolete with a winning workplace exit strategy, fear that if you love again, you're going to get hurt like you were hurt before. When we have fear, it is always attached to a lie, some lie we're believing in our head. And so, what we want to do is we want to distinguish the lies that we have believed in life and align with the word, because the word sets you free. The word is going to break you free from the lie, which will break you free from the fear, which will break you free from the cage. I want to see you live a life worth loving. Get out of that cage, break free, and come into the greatness of what God has placed on the inside of you. And beloved, I want to tell you right now, it's not that you're inadequate. It's not that you aren't good enough. It's not that you aren't educated enough. It's that you don't believe enough in you. The biggest lie that the enemy gives to every single one of us is that we're not enough. And we've all bought into it. If you're part of my email list today, on Sundays, I send out something to encourage you to go into your week. And today, this past Sunday, I sent out an email to encourage people to punch the imposter syndrome right in the face. And the way that you overcome fear is to face off with that fear, to courageously go forward. You may not know everything, but don't let what you don't know keep you from doing what you do know. The lie is you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. Debunk that lie and get free from that cage. What can you not learn with the Holy Spirit and Google and Chat GPT? There's nothing you can't figure out in the matter of minutes these days. Use that knowledge to apply courage to your actions. Get rid of the lies in your head that are building fear. I'm going to tell you what, when we get free from fear, we get free from torment. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When you look at instability in your mind, go back and look at the lies that you have told yourself. What lie have you believed that you need to break free of? I'm going to tell you one of mine personal. Can I tell you a personal story? My mom wanted to abort me when she was pregnant with me because she had me out of an adulterous affair. So I carried the last name of a man who's not my father. My mom was married to my sister's father when she conceived me. And to cover up her lie, she wanted to abort me. And that gave me a sense of not being worthy, not being worth it. And I grew up with that fear of rejection and fear of abandonment my whole life until recently. I decided that, you know what? She chose to have me. And God chose to give me a voice. And God chose to use my voice to help others break free out of bondage, out of fear, break free out of a cage that says you're one dimensional and you can only do one thing in life. Look, I have had 18 different jobs over 13 different industries, and every single one of those have helped me be the business life coach that I am today, that I can see things from a multifaceted viewpoint so that I can then embrace the truth of God's word so that I can embrace the multifacetedness of who I am. When you begin to embrace your multifacetedness, you begin to be just like this diamond, a diamond who has been crafted by the power of pressure, who has been crafted under pressure, under immense hard decisions, and you came out multifaceted with multiple colors, showing all of your brilliance, because that's how you were designed to be. When you shrink back into one dimension of being, you cage yourself. And I want you to be a diamond that is free to shine all the brilliance that God has placed on the inside of you. When you embrace your multifacetedness, you see infinite opportunities all around you. Baby girl, baby boy, you are a diamond in the rough. Embrace who you were created to be. The dream that you have on the inside of you is not your dream you're trying to convince God of. It is God's dream that He placed on the inside of you, that He's trying to get you to capture with your heart of faith. And so I am praying and I'm hoping that each and every one of you will begin to embrace the multifacetedness of your gift set. Maybe you're a good orator. Maybe you're a good maybe you're good at writing music. Maybe you're good at playing football and playing the saxophone. There is I think his name is Jonathan Butler. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he was a phenomenal football player, and he was a phenomenal saxophonist. He had albums out. You wouldn't typically mix football and saxophone with the same person, but he embraced his multifacetedness, and he thrived. The truth of the matter in today's world, beloved, being a generalist can be a superpower, especially if you're in leadership or you're an entrepreneur or you're in creative work. When you are a generalist, that means that you're adaptable and you're resilient. The more skill sets you have, the more doors you can walk through. I have people who can call me at the last minute and say, Brenda, can you come speak? We had a speaker not show up. And I'll ask them, what's the topic? And they'll be like, the topic's confidence, or the topic is conflict resolution. And I, on a dime, can bring up a speech and a motivational speech that can get people to take action and move past where they are. Why? Because I'm not one dimensional. I study and I get skills in multiple disciplines that serve my ideal client, which is the female leader. Someone who's in corporate, who's married to those golden handcuffs, that great six-figure pay and those great benefits, but the work that you're doing is no longer fulfilling. You're no longer living a life of significance, and you feel drained by that. And so I help you unlock those golden handcuffs with the keys to entrepreneurship. And when you look at going into entrepreneurship, you are going to need to be well versed on multiple areas of life and multiple areas of business. Why? Because when you start out, you don't have a full team. If there was one mistake I made when I left corporate, and I made lots of them when I left corporate, and I love sharing my mistakes so that you don't have to make those mistakes. But when I left corporate, I underestimated the power of team. I underestimated the power of team. Teamwork makes the dream work, according to John Maxwell. And that's such a beautiful thing, to have a team, because success is a team sport. Markel Russell. I love to give credit where credit is due, because it takes a long time to come up with these Brenda-isms, and it takes a long time to come up with these concepts. So I don't like to steal other people's concepts. I'd like to give credit where credit is due. And so when you think about becoming an entrepreneur, you are going to really need to embrace your multifacetedness, because entrepreneurship is going to require you to understand multiple lanes of your business. Now, I do this sheet with my clients where I go through a wheel of competencies on entrepreneurship. And if you're watching today and you're willing to participate and engage with me today, I'd love for you to drop these into the comments as you hear them. When you look at going into entrepreneurship, you're going to need to be more than just a technician of your work. You're going to need to be able to have at least a minimal understanding of all of these different facets. Accounting. Let me tell you what, more business owners want to abdicate the authority of accounting to their tax person or to a CPA. And that's where you leave yourself vulnerable, because if that person is unethical or not up to speed, he could leave thousands of dollars on the table of tax write-offs for you, thousands of dollars on the table of checks and balances, open you up to embezzlement within your organization because you don't have the right checks and balances in place. So you need to have at least an intermediate knowledge of accounting. There's great books out there. One of the books that challenged my accounting, I went to school for accounting. This book challenged all my traditional accounting knowledge. Profit First. Oh my goodness, that challenge. I mean, years of accounting that I have been embedded in my head was debunked with the book Profit First. You can go Google it. But you're going to need to know a little bit about business taxes. You're going to need to know a little bit about office admin work, because you're going to need to train someone, whether it's a virtual assistant or it's a physical assistant. You're going to need to train them. What about if you have a brick and mortar? Let's say you have a laundromat. You're going to need to know a little bit of something about building maintenance, machine maintenance, equipment maintenance. Otherwise, you can end up hiring someone who figures out you don't know what you're talking about, and you can get overcharged. I ran into a lady, her name's Egypt, and I'm not sure what her last name is. It's Egypt S, it starts with. And her husband do a show that talks about flipping houses. And her husband shared one simple tip that helped me. I don't flip houses, but I am a single mom who owns a home. He said every month, every 30 days, you need to walk around your house and just take a look at different areas of your house so that you can identify small problems before they become a big problem. So this is what I want to equip you with. When you're looking at launching a business, you need to start building up your skill set in different areas of just knowing enough so that you can go hire someone in that particular area of expertise. Web development, IT technical, that's, doing your plugins on your website, updating your PHP, different basic knowledge. Basic knowledge. I'm not saying become a zone of genius in these areas, but when you're looking at becoming an entrepreneur, especially if you have multiple businesses on the inside of you, you want to have some basic understanding of basic IT technical work. Products and service development. How do you come up with your services? How do you come up with the products that people are going to want to buy? And how do you price them out? Me being my first set of student loans being in accounting, I do with my clients, I work with them on cost accounting, on how do they really ascertain how much money am I spending for this product or service to deliver it to the marketplace, and how do I put enough profit in that to sustain not just the business, but also to have a profitable business. You can spend profits, you cannot spend revenue, beloved. So when you're looking at launching a business, you don't want to give away the store. If you sell your t-shirt, if you buy your t-shirt for $5.99 and you sell it for $6.99, you may want to add some value to your t-shirt. You may want to share that my t-shirt isn't going to shrink the first time you wash it. My t-shirt is breathable cotton or whatever it's made out of. You want to add value to it so that the value is where your profit line comes from. So when you're selling a product or even a service, when you can express the value of what you offer to your clientele, then they're willing to pay more for it than they would a t-shirt that you wash it one time and it shrinks on you. So you want to be able to put some profit margin in there. So you want to understand a little bit about product, service, and development, where to source it from, where you can build and develop curriculums and services that people are going to actually exchange value for value. You give them a value, a product or a service, and they give you back something 6 inches long and green. So you want to know a little bit about product service development. Hey, HR and policy. Yeah, you can go hire someone to do that, but then you're trusting them to be up to par on the latest HR and policy. You want to at least once a month, once a week, sharpen up your skills on HR and policy so that you can be a checks and balance for those that work for you. People management. Let me tell you, soft skills of managing people. I talk to leaders and managers all over the world every day. And people management is probably the biggest thorn in people's side because people don't always express to you what's really going on in their head. And when they don't express to you what's going on in their head, then you can get side swiped by something going on in their lives that you could have planned for or even helped them with had you known. People management is key. How do you inspire people to trust you? Because people who trust you and are inspired by you, they're going to do more for you than people who are just operating in compliance. You can force compliance, but you cannot force loyalty. And loyalty will do more for you than compliance can ever do with you. You want to know about some research and development. You want to be able to research and do market research and competitive research so you can see how to position yourself, your book, your product, your service in the marketplace. So that when you go to put a product out, you actually sell the product or service, and you're not just sitting on a ton of books or a ton of courses or a ton of stuff that people don't want to purchase. You want to do your research and development. You also want to know a little bit about legal contracts and a little bit about legality when you go to hire an attorney. Otherwise, you can get hoodwinked. When you don't know something or nothing about a particular topic, it's easy for someone to overcharge you. So you want to have basic knowledge on how to select healthcare insurance, social media marketing, how to create marketing content, branding, and sales. These are all parts of doing business. I'd like to tell people, oftentimes we go into business and we forget that when we are working a business, there is the art of our work. That is, if you're a painter, you love painting. If you're a singer, you love songwriting. You love doing what you do. If you're a corporate trainer, you love presenting corporate material to a team, right? You do that in your work, but then when you come out and try to make it a business, there's also the business of your work. And that's going to encompass all these 16 things that I talked about. If you're a corporate trainer on a job and you decide, I want to go and be a consultant, I want to use my intellectual knowledge and I want to brand that and I want to become a consultant and I want to do this for multiple organizations. Well, guess what? You're a great corporate trainer. You know the art of your craft. You know the art of your work. But do you know the business of your work? Do you know the business of your craft? That's going to take leveling up your skill set. So you are not a jack of all trades and master of none, but that's often better than a master of one. When you launch into leadership, you launch into entrepreneurship, you're going to need to be well versed on multiple different lanes. There are great artists out there that don't know how to get their paintings in a museum, that don't know how to get new clients to pick up the phone and call them. Life coaches. I am a certified life coach. And when I got certified, I didn't know nothing about how to get a client to pick up the phone and call me. So thank goodness I have worked in marketing and people development since I was a 19-year-old little girl. And so I could take all of that work experience of business development and sales, and I can then bring it into my business of coaching. Now, when I certify life coaches, and my certification, I'm going to teach you how to get business and I'm going to teach you how to deliver a transformational coaching journey that gets a breakthrough for life and not a band-aid for now. And so that is called embracing your multifacetedness. Well, Brenda, I really don't like sales. Okay, then don't be an entrepreneur. Because if you are an entrepreneur, you are going to have to sell a product. in order for you to get a client. That is the truth. In the scriptures, Jesus was an entrepreneur. He was a carpenter. Peter was an entrepreneur. He was a fisherman. Paul was an entrepreneur. He was a tent maker. Priscilla and Aquila were entrepreneurs. They were tent makers, just like Paul. Lydia was an entrepreneur. She was a seller of purple. Don't look at sales as I'm a used car salesperson trying to sell you a car without a transmission in it. No, what you are doing as an entrepreneur is you are providing value for value. You are providing a service for a service. Look, if you have the ability to help people grow through grief, go through grief, then isn't that valuable to someone who just lost their spouse or just lost their child or just lost their mom or their father? That's a value. And people are looking for what you are gifted to give. So let's get to the truth of the word. Jack of all trades, master of none is a comma, but often better than the master of one. Let's embrace our multifacetedness. Let's operate as winners that are able to do more than one thing. You are more than just a mom. You are more than just a cook. You are more than just a wife. You are more than just a leader. You are more. I like what T.D. Jakes says. He did an interview with Stephen Furtick, and Stephen Furtick called him the slasher. And that's because T.D. Jakes is a movie producer, a music producer, a pastor, a father. He is also a mega church, mega churches across the world. He is also multifaceted in a variety of different ways because Elohim dwells in him. And when you begin to embrace being an Elohim kid, then you begin to embrace the multifaceted possibilities that are all around you. You begin to see more opportunities than you see obstacles. And that's the key of a great leader. I remember my first management job, one of my first management jobs was at Unisource Worldwide, and I was a merchandiser. And a merchandiser is in charge of a whole pod of people. And so I remember when Mike McClure came to me, he says, a job of a good leader is to anticipate problems before they happen and put together a solution before the problem manifests. So you have to have some vision, some foresight. But if all you can see are obstacles, it's hard to have foresight. If all you can see are the what's right in front of you, it is very difficult for you to see the problems outside of the solution. So you want to spend 20% of your time on the problem, fully understand what is the problem in the marketplace? What is the problem with hotels? And they looked at the problem with hotels and then crafted Airbnbs that totally disrupted an entire industry because they didn't spend all their time looking at the problem. They spent their 20% of their time looking at the problem and then 80% of their time looking for a solution. So you want to be a solution creator. That makes you a linchpin on a job. That makes it hard for you to be laid off, hard for you to be fired when you're multifaceted on a job. And now I can hear my son saying, yeah, but then that means that your boss will overwork you. That's where you have healthy boundaries. That's another live for another day. But we're talking about being a jack of all trades and a master of none. But oftentimes better than the master of one. And so we want to embrace our Elohim kid. So with that being said, there needs to be a balance in between the range and your focus, okay? Jack of all trades works when you need range, adaptability, and creative problem solving. We've already talked about that, okay? You're in leadership, entrepreneurship, or coaching or consulting. It is a great benefit to me that I've worked 18 jobs over 13 industries, because I can add a value to my clientele that they typically would not experience with someone who is siloed into only one discipline. I can look at things from a variety of different aspects, just like a diamond who has light that flows through it and multicolors come out of it. Remember, we showed you that diamond that has multiple colors shining through it. You want to be like this in the workplace. You want to have multiple colors of solutions and ideas coming out of you, but you have to cultivate that intentionally. That doesn't just happen. That happens because you are intentional to be a student of your trade and to be open to multiple solutions to one problem. When I went to work for a call center years ago, it was my last corporate job. I immediately went to work to make their pricing made simple. When I went to work for them, their pricing was so complicated, I needed a degree in math just to get through what is my bill going to look like at the end of every month. So thank you, Anne, for sharing. See obstacles as opportunities. Great tip. Thank you for joining. And so when I went to this call center, I simplified their pricing structure. But you know what I used? The cell phone industry. The way the cell phone industry priced out their plans with minutes, and if you go over the minutes, you get charged so much. We made their answering service pricing plan that simple so that small business entrepreneurs knew exactly what their bill was going to look like. They could go to their dashboard and see when they're over in their minutes, and they could manage their bill more directly than being surprised by a $75 bill when you were anticipating a $50 charge. And so that ability to be versatile helped me to begin to look at things from different angles because I've worked in so many different industries. Now, you don't have to go work in a bunch of different industries like I did, but now you can open your mind up to say, I want to learn about that. Like I learn about things that women in midlife crisis go through. Personally, I'm living through some of those things. Perimenopause ain't no joke, okay? Night sweats and pimples and periods shouldn't all exist in the same year. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. But what I'm sharing with you today is about how to embrace all that you were created to be. And so when you are able to solve complex problems, you become multifaceted for people in every industry. Now, you're going to hear me say this often, riches and niches. When I teach in my certification class, I teach them to niche down. And this is where riches and niches come together with being a jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Okay. When you're looking at niches, you're wanting to position yourself clearly in a crowded market. That means you want to narrow down and go into being expert mode in a specific transformative solution. So let me share with you how these two work together, being a jack of all trades. I am multifaceted in multiple disciplines of business. Okay. Now, and who I serve are female leaders in corporate. I help them launch their purpose-driven businesses. So I just niche down. There's a lot of things that I could do to help women in leadership. I could help you climb that corporate ladder and go from being a director to being a vice president to being a CIO or COO. I can help you with your career development. I can help you with your leadership development. I can help you with your people development. And all of those things I am very skilled in doing. And I can help people with their career advancement. I can help people negotiate higher end jobs. I can help them negotiate their exit out of higher end jobs. Those are all things that I can do. But what I decided to do is I niche down into helping them with a workplace exit strategy so they can launch their purpose-driven business profitably. Go from a paycheck to a profit check, not from I'm gonna leave my golden handcuffs. Remember that six-figure pay and those great benefits, and live off of my savings for a year and commit financial suicide and then have to go back to work because I don't have a plan to exit my corporate job. You want to be thinking about a workplace exit strategy while you're frustrated on the job so that you can work your intangibles while you're still employed so you can exchange a paycheck for a profit check. That's what Breakthrough for Life niched down into. I niched into helping people with winning workplace exit strategies, helping them discover their purpose and to make their purpose profitable so that they can build a business that pays the mortgage. Now, I niched down even further when I opened up my Life Coaching Academy. When I opened up my Life Coaching Academy, if your workplace exit strategy is to become a certified life coach, then I'm not going to put you through the workplace exit strategy program. I'm going to suggest that you go into the life coaching certification program, which teaches you how to build a life coaching business in 9 modules from scratch, and then 9 modules of transformational cognitive coaching that helps you transform how you lead people, deal with conflict, and how you get to the root issues of what's going on in a person's life so that you can help them have a paradigm shift that will get them a breakthrough for life and not a band-aid for now. So that's an 18-week program that's taught Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 3 hours that will go by like this because it's implementation driven. So I niche from helping corporate female leaders in the workplace to live a life of significance. I niche down into helping, that's a broad demographic. I niche down into helping them with a workplace exit strategy, and I niche down even further into helping them with a life coaching certification. So when you're looking at being a jack of all trades, and the full quote is jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. I'm going to keep saying that all throughout this live, right? When you look at being a jack of all trades, you may say, yeah, but what about niching? Okay, you need to niche down to be an expert in a transformational specific result. You're building scalable offers around one main solution. Is this helping anybody? So when you think about how these two work together, jack of all trades show your range, your wisdom, and a life experience to build trust on. When people know you, like you, trust you, they buy from you. And I tell my coaches and I tell my small business owners this all the time. People don't buy from logos. They don't buy from captions, they buy from eyeballs. Think about it. When somebody on Instagram sends you a connection request and all they have is a logo, you think, you get skeptical, right? But when you can see the face, and my marketing team recently made me get rid of all my AI pictures. And they was like, Brenda, you done lost the weight now. You look like your AI, Brenda. Stop using them AI pictures, because in the world where everyone is questioning, is this real or fake? Real wins. People want to see real eyeballs. People want to see real people. When Steve Jobs came from off from behind the logo and became the face of his brand, his market share increased. People want to buy from real people. Everybody's scared of what AI is going to be, and I'm not going to say that AI isn't some things that need to be dealt with, especially around security with AI. But what I am going to tell you is AI ain't going away. So how do you embrace AI and leverage it? Let me tell you what, being real is one way that you leverage it. You use AI to help you build, but when you show up in the marketplace, be real, be authentic, be who God created you to be, because no one else can be you. Be authentically you before life happened to you. When you look at being a jack of all trades, that's being well versatile, that's being adaptable, that's being able to be agile and cross functional. But when you look at putting your offer out in the marketplace, it needs to be dialed in, it needs to be narrowed down. Offers and programs need riches and niches. Market a specific transformational result that is crystal clear. And when you're marketing things, keep in mind that marketing is going to require you to be clear, concise, and consistent. The 3 C's of marketing: clear, concise, and consistent. You want to be real, you want to be authentic, you want to be transparent, and you want to be clear, concise, and consistent. One of the things that my brand is built on is authenticity. Sometimes I'll cry, sometimes I'll adjust my wig. I'm real, okay? It's 100% who I am. But the goal is for you to know when to be a jack of all trades and when to be the master of your niche, the master of your offer. Know who you serve. I serve women and a few good men, female leaders and a few good men that work in corporate that want their businesses to thrive. I also serve business owners that are looking to scale their business to the next level. So let me share with you what scaling your business to the next level looks like. Okay. It is 3 S's. Sales. There is no business if there are no sales. Systems. If you have good systems, efficient systems, and most people don't. When I get behind the hood of many of these Fortune 500 companies, their biggest system where they are losing money, money is literally being siphoned out of their profit line, is they have poor systems on training staff. And then staff. If you've got good sales coming in, you need systems and staff to support that. But your systems, if they are very efficient and your training program is dialed in, then you'll need less physical staff. The staff you need will also be staff that is versatile, staff that is agile, staff that is open-minded, staff that is confident. Let me tell you another thing. When I'm helping small business owners that already have a business, that means that they're no longer working in corporate, they're full-time getting their check from their business. When we look at scalability, the sales, the systems, and the staffing, you want to learn how to staff right. Staff confident people, because insecure people are siphoning your labor dollars. Siphoning your labor dollars. Insecure staff members will double check to double check to double check and ask 2 other people and double check. All of that is time. When you hire people, when you're looking at scaling your business and you're hiring people, you want to hire people who are confident in their ability to be resourceful. You want to hire people who are confident in their ability to solve problems, not cocky, not arrogant. Cocky and arrogant says, I'm better than you. Confidence says that I have what it takes to do what is necessary to thrive. And I'd like to teach my business owners, when I'm helping them scale their businesses, I'd like to teach them what is called the staff right. And you have to be a client. I won't give that one away for free, but the staff right triangle of staffing people. When my business owners use the staff right model, they nail it almost every single time. They nail it almost every single time. I just had one of my business owners, one of the few good men that I coach. He owns a chain of hotels, and I had him. I said, "You need a strong GM," and he got him a strong GM. He was coachable. He went in. He put together the training modules, and he's having a better experience now with this GM than he has had in all of his times past. Beloved, I'm telling you, when you get the 3 S's of business right, sales, how do you really dial in that marketing? How do you really nail that brand declaration? How do you really put together an offer that really gets your ideal client's attention so they pick up the phone and call you, or they come into your store? You have a brick and mortar. Location, location, location is everything. So When you're operating with sales and that is dialed in, then it's literally a faucet. You can turn it on or you can dial it back. Then you have the systems in place that are efficient, that are effective and have checks and balances in it so that things don't fall through the cracks. Then the staff you have can be more efficient. And the more confident your staff is, the faster they get things done. You want staff that is decisive. Indecisive people waste time. There's a blog on my website, breakthroughforlife.com. On my website, there's a blog called The Cost of Indecisiveness. And when we are indecisive, we don't want to be impulsive. We want to make calculated decisions, but we don't want to be indecisive. Indecisiveness costs you time. And if you have indecisive people on your staff, they're going to cost you labor dollars. And so when you begin to look at jack of all trades with riches and niches, like everything has its place. Everything has its place. There's a time where you dial in and you get very, very dialed in on one specific thing. And then there is a time where you need to be broad enough so that you can hire an IT guy that's not going to overcharge you for spending 15 minutes to do plugins and charge you $750 a month for doing it. Like I did, because I said I didn't want to learn anything about technology and I was just going to hire people for it. And when I lost enough money in it, I said, you know what, let me get in here and at least have a baseline knowledge of this information so that when I hire someone, I'm not getting hoodwinked. Anybody wants to not get hoodwinked when they go to hire people, then have some baseline knowledge on what you're hiring people for. So now let's talk about some tools. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. Let me give you a couple of Brenda-isms. Okay. Your life can be wide, but your offer should be sharp. Your life and your knowledge span can be wide, but when you're putting an offer out, let it be sharp, clear, concise, and to the point. Don't make your ideal client wonder what you offer them. When I tell people I'm going to sign you up for the Barrier Breaker program, they know we're about to break through fear, doubt, imposter syndrome. We are about to change my mindset in 10 weeks. To where I don't think the same way, where I'm going to deal with the lies that the devil has been planting in me. I'm going to deflate that fear. I'm going to ignite that courage. And I am going to have a confidence that literally rocks my world. That's when your life is wide, but your offer is sharp. When I say a workplace exit strategy, my clients don't have to guess what's the result of me working with her. She is going to help me put together over 16 weeks a clear and concise workplace exit strategy so I can make my job optional until it is time to make it obsolete. That means you walk away with a strategy of intangible steps that you need to take before you quit that job. You don't want to quit that job and then start working on the steps, because it's a lot of steps in between that paycheck and a profit check. So while you are working the job, you want to work the intangibles that's going to help you launch a business. The other Brenda-ism is your wisdom is the ocean, but your niche is the fishing line. Your wisdom is the ocean, but your niche is the fishing line. So if I want to get a certain type of fish, I've got to put the right type of bait out there. That's your marketing, right? And that's your fishing line. Now, I can help you in a variety of ways. And I may be going fishing in a big ocean, but the line that I put out and the bait that I put out into that ocean is going to bring me a certain type of fish. So the Brenda-ism for today is your wisdom is the ocean, but your niche is the fishing line. And so I want to really encourage you guys to really begin to look at, if you're looking at launching a business, what do I need to learn while I still have a job? So let me give you, I'm trying to look to see if I've covered everything in my notes. Here's your Brenda-ism to reframe. Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one. I'd rather be fluent in many rooms than stuck in one lane. Remember, lanes are for traffic, not for purpose. You are a multifaceted being here to do multifaceted work. Embrace the multifacetedness that God has placed on the inside of you and watch your options open up. Watch your world thrive. Okay? So, with that being said, let me give you some tools. Here are some tools to stay powerful and not overwhelmed when you're looking at being a jack of all trades. Know your core lane. Even if you have many skills, define your core purpose, the why that ties them all together. Brendaism. I may have many tools, but I built one kind of house. I like that. I may have many tools, but I build one kind of house. So when you are looking at knowing your core lane, you're going to have a big demographic that you narrow down into an ideal client, that you narrow down into a niche. Okay. And so when you're looking at how you fashion your business, who do you serve? The large demographic. How can you identify an ideal client avatar within that demographic that you are most uniquely designed to serve? Then, how do you serve them in that specific niche? Okay. You narrow it down and know your core lane. Number two, work in seasons, not simultaneously. When you're multifaceted, you can be like an octopus on roller skates. You're all over the place. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. Okay. We don't want to be an octopus on roller skates. That means that when you're learning marketing, learn how to master one lane of marketing and then add on to it. If you notice, I just started doing YouTube. I've been doing YouTube here and there off and on, but I've just now decided I'm going to master YouTube. I'm a master doing shorts. I'm going to master doing different elements of this so that I don't overwhelm myself. You don't have to develop every skill all at once. Rotate focus depending on life seasons or your current goal. Look, y'all, I'm a woman who gets bored very easily. So you see me change my hair a lot. You see me change a lot of different elements of my life a lot so that I can create an agility and excitement in my day. I loved working for my last boss. My last boss had more business ideas than I could shake a stick at. So I always was being challenged to do more and be more. But you have to understand that you don't chase two rabbits at one time. You chase one rabbit, catch it, and then chase the next. So learn things in one season. There was a time where all I wanted to do was learn how to master doing graphics. So now I hire people who do great graphics for me because I know how to manage them. I know how to lead them. So you want to spend 3 to 6 months mastering one area and then apply the mastery to another project. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to get this wig like size so it can cover up my gray hair. Anyway, the next one, tools, tools, tools. Somebody type in tools, tools, tools for me. Anchor each skill to a result. Every skill should be connected to a measurable outcome, whether it's income, impact, or influence. This keeps you from doing things just because you can. Let me tell you, that's huge when you're multifaceted because we can get involved with a lot of things that don't serve our overall purpose. So I like to help people when I work with them in one-on-one coaching to have a life vision. What is your purpose in life? And then what are the multifaceted ways that you can fulfill that purpose? And then I like to anchor their skills into results. Me learning how to do social media marketing will help me bring in enough clientele so that I can hire coaches that will be able to have a 6-figure income as a W-2 employee because I've mastered coaching, which ties into the end result of my life is to help 1 million people transform their lives through life coaching in my lifetime. Me being in my early 50s, I don't want to work to 120 years old. So that means that I need to duplicate my skill set in other people, and hence gave birth to the Breakthrough for Life Academy, where I certify life coaches. So you want to anchor each skill into a result that ties into your life vision. Now, the next one is create a personal life vision map. Draw out how your skills connect to each other. This makes your versatility a system, not a scattered list of talents. So here's another Brendaism for you. I don't juggle balls, I stack building blocks. So when you list out all of your skills and all of your abilities, then tie them together and connect them. My gift of communication works very well with doing videos. It also works very well with doing workshop. It also works very well with motivational speaking. It also works very well with corporate training. It also works very well with leadership training. That one skill of communication. The next tool, and we're almost done, y'all. Number 5, protect your energy like you protect your wallet. Say no to projects that don't align with your purpose. Look, every yes you give is a no to something else. So say yes to the right things and no to the distracting things. Schedule rest like you schedule meetings. Look, I do these lives on Tuesdays, and Tuesdays is my flux day. I do these lives on Tuesday because Sunday I get totally disengaged from work. That is the one day I try not to do anything. Lately, I've been sending out my emails, and I do those in kind of a rush. And that's why we kind of had a little issue this week with the emails. But thank God it was only to my current clients that got the messed up email. And they're a lot more forgiving than people who don't know me very well. And so, you want to schedule your rest. Sundays is my day of rest. About 8:30, I'll do something for marketing just because I like to do it fresh and live. And then Monday is my day of chores and running around and getting the house cleaned up and that. Tuesday is my flex day. I come in a little bit later on Tuesdays, but I am here and I'm ready to go. I meet with my VA about 3:00, and then I get into my show notes because I want my show notes to be fresh and top of mind when I get ready to do my show notes. But I schedule my time. And then once I hit Tuesday through Saturday, it's boobs to the wall. We're getting it. We're working. We are helping people, adding value to lives. I'm praying with people. Let me tell you, right now, I'm going to pray for people who have suicidal thoughts, because almost every day of this past week, I have been praying with people who are struggling with suicidal thoughts. I spoke with one lady today. I spoke with another lady on Saturday, and it breaks my heart that people are dealing with so much oppression that they are literally contemplating leaving this world. And I get it. I get it. And I pray for those people. And I really want people to know that there are people out there who love you, and that if you can switch your focus for what you don't have to what you do have and start to be grateful for that, you'll start to see more and more opportunities. But I'm going to tell you, in order to avoid burnout, you're going to have to schedule your rest. Keep marginal days with no major commitments to prevent burnout. It's important. Burnout, you're not getting rid of burnout just because you went on vacation once a quarter. You need to build in recharging moments, just like your electric car needs recharging stations on a long path, a long journey. You need to have recharging elements to your day. Like one of my recharges is I go over to Barlow's, I see my buddy Hunter, we talk, we laugh, we joke, we have us a good time. That is a recharge for me. I talk to him about his life. He talks to me about mine, and we have a great laugh and jokes over mocktails, because I don't drink alcohol like I used to. And so it just doesn't metabolize in my body as well as it used to. And so that's a recharge for me. So you need to protect your energy like you protect your wallet. You're not going to spend your last dime, and you also should not spend your last bit of energy giving out to other people. And then number 6, package your skills into an offer. In business, don't sell everything you can do. Sell the transformational things you can deliver. I like to tell my clients I love to underpromise and overdeliver, because there's a lot of people out there saying that they can take you here and take you there, but only 5% of their clientele actually does it. For me, I like to make sure that whatever I position, that I deliver on. This prevents decision fatigue and keeps your brand sharp. So I hope this has been encouraging for you. I hope that you will take these tools and apply these tools. And if you are interested in becoming a certified life coach, or you are interested in a free discovery call so that you can break through barriers, so that you can thrive at life, I pray that you will reach out to me, schedule a free discovery call, and let's craft a winning life together. One coaching session at a time, one value add at a time, with Coach BU, here to help you be authentically who God created you to be before life happened to you. Peace and love, beloved.